Hi everyone, Brian Winston here with Calgi Law, talking about life and hopefully enriching yours. Today I have the pleasure of being with Keith Hendricks of Moyes Sellers Hendricks, and we're going to talk about some of the issues and expectations that you should have, particularly if you are a business owner, when it comes to bankruptcy and how bankruptcy can be an effective tool that can help a business that's struggling, and some of the concerns and thoughts you should be having if you're struggling right now, as many people are, and looking at the possibility of doing something in bankruptcy to save your business. So Keith, how are you doing today?
I'm doing really well.
I'm glad to hear that. So let's talk a little bit about bankruptcy. Can you explain first on a basic level what bankruptcy actually is? Because I think there's a lot of confusion for a lot of people as to what the process actually is.
Well, bankruptcy is an opportunity to restructure or relieve a debtor from certain debts while protecting the rights of all the parties. It's a statutory scheme that was created by Congress, so it's only under federal law administered by the Federal Bankruptcy Court, and it allows debtors relief if they can meet certain requirements.
I think one of the key things you said there is it allows relief. It's a mechanism to provide essentially some air when people are really struggling. So when it comes to the context of a business, when should a business start considering bankruptcy as a tool, and why?
There's usually an event that will trigger it, such as a landlord that's going to seek an eviction, or a secured lender who's going to seek repossession of certain assets. One of the biggest benefits of bankruptcy is there's a feature called the automatic stay. And as soon as a bankruptcy is filed, the automatic stay goes into effect, which stops all of those actions until a court can look at it. And that's the biggest difference between bankruptcy and state court, because in state court, before you can get a stay, you would have to go to court, get a preliminary injunction, have a hearing and a trial and evidence, and it can take weeks or even months before the court would give you any relief. But bankruptcy, the automatic stay goes into effect the moment that you file the paperwork.
So one of the things that I've had people talk to me about is, they think of bankruptcy as, okay, if I file bankruptcy, I lose everything and everything's done and I have to start over from scratch and it's just the end of the world. But it's my understanding from what you're saying that that's not actually the case, and that it really is in some ways a lifeline. Is that fairly accurate? And if so, why?
It is accurate. The biggest question that a person needs to decide when they're considering bankruptcy for a business is whether or not there's a plan where if they got a little time, they got different terms, that they could reorganize and restructure and move the business forward. And that's typically done in what we call a Chapter 11 bankruptcy, which is a reorganization. If at the end of the day, the person in the business is not going to have enough money to pay particularly its secured debts, then a reorganization won't work, and they'll have to move to either a Chapter 13 or a Chapter 7 liquidation, and where they will liquidate all of the assets that are not subject to some type of protection and pay the debts, and they get a discharge then, and they no longer owe the debts even if they're not paid. So even a liquidation can be a benefit because it will discharge the debts. People quit hounding them and they can start over again. But if the business just needs a little bit of time, and I see that particularly right now with this COVID, when people's stream of income may have been interrupted for a time, they think that it's going to come back on the back end. They just need an opportunity to go out and get a loan, to go out and restart their business, to do something. They just need some breathing room. Then they can go into a Chapter 11 and stop the evictions, the repossessions and things like that creditors may be taking, and they can go in to reorganize their business and move forward.
So Keith, have you seen a lot of businesses that go into bankruptcy? Have you found that they have the ability at the other end of that to come out stronger and actually proceed to succeed in their business afterwards?
Absolutely, but it depends on both the planning and the mechanisms to carry it out. One of the big issues is, are you going to be able to find the financing that is going to be needed to move your business forward, be that through new business, new capital coming in, or a loan from a new lender. And the financing and the business plan and the business strategy is the key to making these successful. Not all bankruptcies are successful. In fact, many are unsuccessful and can be very disadvantageous to the debtor. But if there is a scheme and a plan and involved, and people who know what they are doing and committed, it can be very strong. And a restructuring and like you say, is coming out stronger on the other side is possible.
So when would be the optimal time for somebody who's a business owner and considering, their options because their business is suffering? When is the optimal time for them to pick up the phone and call someone like you to start exploring the possibility of bankruptcy protection?
Before those triggering events come about. If you wait till the eve of the eviction or the eve of the repossession, it makes it very difficult. And if the eviction or repossession has already occurred, bankruptcy is not retroactive. It's not like you can go back and undo something that if it has been legally actively done. The stay goes into effect the moment the bankruptcy is filed, but it does not happen retroactively. And so the planning to be done, the stay can only be effective when the paperwork is done, and the paperwork requires schedules and plans, and there's many activities that need to occur. So the more time that you can provide before the triggering events, before the eviction, the repossession, the better that the plan and the reorganization will be, and the more chance it has to be effective.
Excellent. So one of those things where you got to get in early, you got to get moving quick and be proactive about it. As with most things in life, you got to take action. So Keith, this is one of those areas that I don't handle in my practice. I don't really do things in bankruptcy very often. And so I like to be able to get that over to people who have that knowledge base, who have that understanding. And you in particular, from the chances I've had to work with you and get to know you, I've found that you are one of the most caring attorneys out there who really do a lot to serve your clients. And so it really is a pleasure for me to have you on today and talk about this and try to direct anybody who is looking to get that bankruptcy protection over to you. So what's the best way for people to contact you if they have questions or they need help with their pending bankruptcy?
Our website has all the contact information. Our firm name is Moyes, Sellers, and Hendricks. So the website is law-msh for Moyes, Sellers, and Hendricks, law-msh.com. Or you can just Google Moyes, Sellers, Hendricks, and all the contact information will be there. And I appreciate that. I really enjoyed the sophisticated case that we had with the Calgary law firm. I thought we made a great team with the tenaciousness of the Calgary law firm, and then our local experience here with the bankruptcy litigation in the bankruptcy court. It was an effective team.
And it was definitely a great team. It was great getting to work with you. And I hope that if people need help, that they'll reach out directly to you, because I know you have the team that can help any business out there that's struggling. So just kind of wrap it up for everyone. Again, thank you, Keith, for being on with me. Thanks, everyone, for watching. If you are a business owner and you're struggling with your business, whether it's because of COVID-19 or any other reason, and you're considering the possibility of bankruptcy, don't hesitate. Give Keith a call, and he's the guy who's going to help you out. For any other litigation needs, I'm Brian Williams with Calgary Law. Thanks so much for watching. Talk to you guys next time.